Hi, I'm going to riff a little about safety and what seems to be safe and might not be safe, and what seems to be unsafe and might be actually safe after all. I'll start with a hopefully accurate. I don't have the book in front of me. Quote from the Tao Te Ching that says, "When man fears not that which is to be feared, that which he fears comes upon him." Sounds like a kind of crazy conundrum kind of thing, but I've found in situations in my life when I've been fearful, I either found out that I didn't need to be fearful, or it my fear brought on the fearful situation. But I thought of this in relation to something that happened, years and years ago. There was a conference, I forget what conference, but it had to do with craft, and both Helen Drutt and Martha Stewart were there. And to me, Martha Stewart is all about safety and having a project turn out just right. And I respect that in the sense of people not wanting to waste their time doing creative things. They want to do a creative thing, invest the time in it, and have it worth their while to do that. However, that can kind of lead down a slippery slope toward too much safety, or too much, oh, situations where you already know what the end result's going to be. And that does not lead to excitement for me, at least personally. And Helen Drutt, I don't remember I wasn't there, but I read about it. And she did say something about, and Martha Stewart, along the lines of Martha Stewart really has no business being here, because, in part, because of that whole not cutting edge thing. And it really stuck with me because, I was kind of joking about it, going, they ought to have a ladies mud wrestling pit and have them like battle it out or something. But I really have kind of a moral dilemma when it comes to kits, because as a bead weaving artist, sometimes I teach, and sometimes people want to just not have to think about what colors to pick or whatever. And frankly, for a lot of hobbyist craft artists on the hobbyist level, you can make money making kits. And I do want to kind of get as many people into it as they can, even if they're a little afraid. So if a kit helps them over their fear, then great. But if it turns into an explosion of, you have to have a kit and you have to have this particular thing to make it, and you have to make this exact thing, then that slippery slope is sliding down into things that are not cutting edge, and things that might not not going to push the medium forward. I'll give an example from the music industry, of number one hits. Sometimes I have a book of number one hits that goes from 1957 to 1987, I believe it is. And they have the stories behind each number one pop, rock, whatever hit. And so many times, I could probably catalog it and count up the number of them, but there are at least several of them enough to remember that this is actually more common than you might think. What happened was, they went into the studio to record a song. They knew that that one song was going to be the number one hit, and they recorded it, and they're all excited about it. And then they had a few minutes left, because back then you could book a session for 3 hours, and it was really expensive, and you had to make good use of the time. So what happened often was that they would have 15 minutes left. So it's, okay, let's knock out another one just for the heck of it. It was the one that they knocked out just for the heck of it, that was not pre-planned, that was not pre-whatevered, that became the number one hit. So that's where the confidence should hopefully come in for people to tell you that you're bound to, yeah, sure, you might make a mistake, but that mistake might turn into something really cool. Like Joyce Scott says, mistakes are opportunities. And another friend of mine says, a mistake repeated is a new stitch. So be not afraid of making, just pushing your own envelope, or, getting out of the box, or blowing away the box altogether. Because especially the bead world does not need more conformity. And I know that there are a lot of things pushing it the other way. There are online forums and things, and people reinforce, oh, that looks great, that looks just like a such and such project. Pat on the back and stuff. Or, oh, what is that? I mean, when I started doing bead weaving, I became very accustomed to, oh my God, what is that? As a common response to my work. And I thought, okay, well, I'll get to tell them, or maybe they don't want to know, or maybe I don't care, because I don't need to make more of something that somebody else already made. Now, again, that's not for everybody, but I do encourage you to basically, if you're a beader and you're in one group and the other group and this and that and the other thing, and you're online and getting feedback for your work, to develop a tough skin and realize that life could be a little more or a lot more interesting if you are willing to what should I say? Make a, oh my God, what is that piece? So here's to the, oh my God, what is that? And the willingness to be scared and realize that you're not going to have a mountain fall on you just because somebody didn't like your work. So on that happy note, I'll say goodbye, and I'll see you next time.